relation between Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and Poisson's ratio. Consider a cubical material subjected to a hydraulic stress minus P. Why you consider a cubical material? Because of simplicity of the derivation. And here the negative sign shows that the hydraulic stress is given by the body. The hydraulic stress acts along the three direction, that is conventional x, y and z direction. This is your x direction, this is your y direction, and this is your z direction. As shown in this figure, suppose Px is the hydraulic stress along the x direction, the hydraulic stress along this positive x direction as well as this negative x direction. Similarly, Py is the hydraulic stress along the y direction, along this direction, also along this direction, and Pz is the hydraulic stress along z direction, this one and another this one. First we calculate the strain along x direction, then the expression will be same for y direction and z direction. Suppose the strain in x direction is epsilon x. So epsilon x is the strain in x direction due to the hydraulic stress Px, and minus the strain in x direction due to Py plus the strain in x direction due z direction. This is not x direction, this is your z direction due to Pz. Why we take the deduction of this strain along x direction due to Py and Pz? Because due to the strain in x direction will be lost due to the lateral strain along y and z direction. To calculate the longitudinal strain along x direction, we have to use the formula Young's modulus y equal to compressive stress divided by longitudinal strain. So longitudinal strain will be equal to compressive stress divided by y. So epsilon x will be equal to compressive stress, here is Px along x direction divided by Young's modulus y, sigma Py divided by y plus sigma Pz divided by y. And this factor is due to the lateral compression along y and z direction, that is why you have to multiply the Poisson's ratio. So here the compressive stress along y will be equal to sigma into Py divided by y, and along z it will be equal to sigma into Pz divided by y. Since the hydraulic stress is equal in three directions, that is x, y and z direction, so we may compute Px equal to Py equal to Pz, that is equal to P. So the strain in x direction from equation 1 will be equal to epsilon x, that is equal to P divided by y minus sigma P divided by y plus sigma P divided by y. Here we have taken P instead of Px, Py and Pz. So this will be equal to P divided by y minus 2 P sigma divided by y. So epsilon x will be equal to P by y taking common 1 minus 2 sigma. Similarly, we can calculate the strain along y direction, that is equal to epsilon y equal to P divided by y 1 minus 2 sigma, and the strain along the z direction epsilon z is equal to P divided by y into 1 minus 2 sigma. And the total strain along x, y and z direction will be equal to the volume strain. So volume strain will be equal to epsilon x plus epsilon y plus epsilon z. So that will be equal to 3p divided by y into 1 minus 2 sigma. Then what is bulk modulus? Bulk modulus is the hydraulic stress divided by volume strain. And here you have given the hydraulic stress P, and the volume strain we have calculated 3p divided by y into 1 minus 2 sigma. So if you divide this then B will be equal to y divided by 3 into 1 minus 2 sigma, or y will be equal to 3b into 1 minus 2 sigma. So this is the relation between Young's modulus y, bulk modulus b, and Poisson's ratio sigma. Now we will derive a relation between Young's modulus y, rigidity modulus g, and Poisson's ratio sigma. You consider the same cube, and this is one face of the cube. A, B, C, D is one face of this cube, and suppose the bottom face of the cube is fixed and the top face of the cube is given a shear stress tau. Then what is longitudinal strain in this diagonal BD? Initially you have two diagonal, one is BD and another one is your AC, and when you apply a shear stress tau, then this diagonal DB, this will elongate. You see, this will elongate to DH, and this diagonal AC, it will be compressed to EC. Now we will calculate the longitudinal strain of this diagonal BD or DB. And the longitudinal strain is equal to change in length in the diagonal divided by the original length, and the change in length is MH. If you draw a perpendicular here, then this length will be the change in length. So this change in length will be equal to MH, and the original length is equal to DB. So the longitudinal strain epsilon will be equal to MH divided by DB. Since the magnitude of BH is very small, so this angle 45 degree, that is the angle EBD. The angle EBD is equal to 45 degree, and also the angle BHM, this angle also will be equal to 45 degree. Then in this right angle triangle BMH, cos 45 degree will be equal to MH divided by BH. So MH will be equal to cos 45 degree into BH, that is equal to BH divided by root 2, because cos 45 degree is equal to 1 by root 2. So since BH is small, angle EBD, see angle EBD, this angle is equal to 45 degree, and this angle also will be equal to 45 degree, and MH will be equal to BH divided by root 2. Since this angle is 45 degree, this angle also will be equal to 45 degree. So now in the triangle BDC, this triangle BDC, your sine 45 degree will be equal to BC divided by DB. So DB will be equal to BC into root 2. Sine 45 degree is equal to BC divided by DB. So DB will sine 45 1 by root 2. So DB will be equal to BC into root 2. So you substitute now the value of MH and DB in equation 1. So the longitudinal strain will be equal to, that is epsilon will be equal to BH divided by root 2. The value of MH is equal to BH divided by root 2 divided by DB, that is equal to BC into root 2. So this value will be equal to BH divided by BC, and in the triangle you can see, consider this triangle, that is BHC, this triangle, tan theta will be equal to BH divided by BC. So you substitute here BH by BC equal to tan theta into 1 by 2, and for small angle of theta, tan theta will be equal to theta, so this will be equal to theta divided by 2. As you know, here theta is called the shearing strain, and from definition of the modulus of rigidity, we know modulus of rigidity G is equal to shearing stress divided by shearing strain. and here we have taken shearing stress equal to tau and shearing strain is equal to theta. So G equal to tau divided by theta. So theta will be equal to tau divided by G. From equation 2, epsilon, that is the longitudinal strain, is equal to theta divided by 2. So here theta equal to, from equation 3, theta equal to tau divided by G. So theta is equal to 2 epsilon. So 2 epsilon is equal to tau divided by G. So epsilon will be equal to tau divided by 2G. Suppose this is equation number 4. From the figure it is clear that when there is elongation of this diagonal, DB, you have compression of this diagonal AC. The diagonal DB elongates to DH and the diagonal AC is compressed to EC. So the strain in the diagonal DB will be equal to strain due to tensile stress in this diagonal DB minus the strain due to compressive stress in the diagonal AC. And since this diagonal compresses, so the compressive strain will be negative. So the strain in the diagonal DB is equal to the strain due to the tensile stress in DB minus the strain due to compressive stress in CA. And what is the strain due to tensile stress in DB? That is equal to tau divided by the Young's modulus, because tau is the shear stress. So tau divided by the Young's modulus minus the compressive stress in CA, that is equal to minus sigma tau divided by y, because of it is compression and that is lateral compression. So it is, you have to multiply here the Poisson's ratio sigma and negative sign because the diagonal CA compresses. So this will be equal to tau divided by y into 1 plus sigma. So from equation 4 and 5, in equation you have the strain in the diagonal DB is equal to epsilon, that is equal to tau divided by 2G, and here the strain is equal to tau divided by y into 1 plus sigma. So tau divided by 2G will be equal to tau divided by y into 1 plus sigma. So from equation 4 and 5, tau divided by 2G is equal to tau divided by y into 1 plus sigma. So y will be equal to 2G into 1 plus sigma. And this is the relation between Young's modulus y, rigidity modulus G, and Poisson's ratio sigma. Now let us derive the relation between Young's modulus y, bulk modulus B, and rigidity modulus G. Till now we have deduced two equations, that is the relation between Young's modulus y, rigidity modulus G, and Poisson's ratio sigma, this relation, and the relation between Young's modulus y, bulk modulus B, and Poisson's ratio sigma, that is y equal to 3b into 1 minus 2 sigma. So from this equation, if you write y divided by 2g, that will be equal to 1 plus sigma. Y divided by 2g, that will be equal to 1 plus sigma. And from this equation, if you write y divided by 3b, then this will be equal to 1 minus 2 sigma. So we will get these two equations. Now you multiply 2 in this equation. So this will be equal to 2 into y divided by 2g, that will be equal to 2 plus 2 sigma. And this equation is equal to y divided by 3b, which is equal to 1 minus 2 sigma. Now you add these two equations. If you add these two equations, then 2 sigma cancels, then this 2 cancels. So y divided by g plus y divided by 3b will be equal to 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3. So if you take y common, this will be equal to 1 divided by g plus 1 divided by 3b, that will be equal to 3. So y will be equal to 3b plus g divided by 3 gb into 3. So y will be equal to 9 gb divided by G plus 3B, and this is the relation between Young's modulus Y, bulk modulus B, and rigidity modulus G. So in experiment, if you found out the modulus of elasticity of any two, then you can calculate the modulus of other two.